I'm Dr. Lori. I'm at the Cobb Antique Mall in Marietta, Georgia, near Atlanta. Come shop with me. Throughout its history, glass is always trying to look like ceramic. So here's an example. This is Pyrex. And this piece of Pyrex, and I'll show you the mark. Here's the Pyrex mark. This Pyrex cup and others like it are trying to look like Syracuse china. The Syracuse china that has the same green and white pattern, but this one's Pyrex. It looks just like Syracuse china because that was all the rage in the 1950s. And you'll notice the dishware in the lime green, in the darker moss green, and then also in that pink coral color. Very popular at the time. So a lot of people don't realize that they actually made dinnerware too, servingware. They were trying to compete with Fire King, the decorative servingware that you see here made by Anchor Hocking. So Fire King, and here's the mark on this, and you can see that mark on the Fire King pieces too. Now Fire King, you can see in the plates in the back that the 8-piece place setting of Fire King in the primrose pattern, they want $225 for the service for 8. That's 8 cups, 8 saucers, and 8 dinner plates. That's it. There's no bread plates. I don't see any salad plates for the Fire King here. What's it worth? About $225. So that's a little bit high without those plates. Now, the Pyrex, in fact, is marked by individual piece. For example, this Pyrex bowl in the lime green is $22 for the one bowl, because this is really a vegetable serving bowl called an open serving bowl. It's called open because there's no lid to it. This particular piece is worth about $30, and here's the mark. I want to give you a good mark for this though, because this one's a little bit faded. So the Pyrex USA mark for the dinnerware pieces, what I'm holding in this hand is the sugar bowl with the lid, also known as a covered sugar bowl, creamer, and the covered sugar bowl for this Pyrex set. So not every day do you see that set sort of being traded. Lime green, sugar, and creamer, $58 for the set. So they want about $30 each, and that's about what retail is. So it's worth $60. Pink depression glass. Depression glass is not only made during the Depression, which is 1930 to 1933. It can be made all the way up till about the late 1950s. First things I want you to look for, pink is very desirable, so is green. With the pink, platters, separated platters, or of course serving dishes. Both of these are going to be desirable because they're larger. So this one's a Mayfair with a central handle, and it's a sandwich platter. Why? Because sandwiches were little tiny sandwiches in the 1930s to the 1950s, and they had the crust cut off, you know, like cream cheese and cucumber, you know, not really a sandwich like it is today. That piece, they want $55 for that piece. Can you see the decorative flower form at the 4 panels? There are 4 panels where you have that decorative flower form. That's a nice piece. It's in very nice shape. There's not many scratches. I don't really think it was used much. For $55, that's a deal because that's an $80 piece. Other pieces you want to look for, this is a separated dish called Old Colony for this particular design, with the reticulated or punched out circles around the rim, and the rim is serpentine. Also pink depression glass, that's a good piece. They only want $28 for that. You can probably get $35 for that. That's based on actual sales records. If you were to purchase it retail, you'd be paying $35. My favorite here, and I'll talk a little bit about the poodle and also the Scotty Terrier dogs. These are iridescent glass. They're put it with the pink because they kind of have that color, but they're iridescent glass, not the same as depression glass. They have the metallic salts that are put in them, and then that makes this iridescence, this sort of shiny iridescence. The Scotty dog is a powder dish, powder jar with the lid, and then the poodle, very, very popular from the 1950s, is also used for powder. So you'd have face powder on your dresser. As you're putting your makeup on, you put the face powder on at the end. These are nice pieces, about $25 for each one. Usually they come in sets, though, of 3. So you'd have 3 poodles or 3 Scotty dogs, that kind of thing. But my favorite here is not really the animals, even though I love dogs, is this candy dish. So why is it so great? The decoration is difficult to achieve, so is that patterning, and you have a juxtaposition of the conical shape, the round cone at the top, and then the very geometric square at the bottom. Now they want $60 for that. Why? Because it's really worth $60. That's a beautiful piece, and they know what they've got there. I wish we had the pear for the candlesticks. It's too bad they don't have this pear, because this is, of course, frosted glass at the base. It's a nice round candlestick. They want $9 for it. Together, if you had both of them, they'd be $25 for the pair. The depression glass is really a nice example, and the pink really makes everything pop. This is a trinket tray. That means that this tray would go on your vanity next to really your powder jars, and you could put your earrings in it, or maybe a safety pin or a necklace or whatever it might be. This one dates later. It dates after 1950, where these other pieces were really of the 40s and some even earlier than that. You can tell if you look at the color of the pink. Look at how much pinker this one is than the earlier serving dish. The serving dish dates much earlier than this particular pink trinket dish. So if it's too pink, then you know it's newer. And that's true of the greens. The greens tend to be very, very dramatically green versus the earlier examples. So I'd say $15 for this when the tag says 18. Fenton made these Horn of Plenty white glass with a pink ruffled edge. These pieces are, of course, a Horn and Plenty. Look inside, because you can see that they're candlesticks. So you can see the nice round hole where the candlestick taper will hold. These are really nice. They're made by Fenton. I want to see how much they want for them, because they have a beautiful pair and they're in perfect shape. I'd be afraid to put them out here in this aisle, but other people are much braver than I. From the 1940s, they want $48 for the pair, just under 50 bucks. I think they're worth 60 or 30 each. Don't break up the set. Then you've got hobnail. I like the hobnail, and I like the two-tone. Look at the form of the handle of this basket. It has that bamboo shape handle, and it's got hobnail. What's hobnail? Well, hobnail's right here. It's the spiked hobnail, for which Fenton is relatively well known. So you can see they're almost like cones, like an ice cream cone at the bottom, rather than very smooth around it. They want $45. It's also Fenton, and this piece is worth about $55. The fan vase is also hobnail, but unlike, if we want to compare this one, unlike the basket, which has the points in its hobnail, those are just rounded. Those hobnails are round, where this hobnail of the basket is pointed. It's also that nice teal blue, which then comes up to a nice rippled ribbon top for the opening of the fan vase. And that's not for candles now. That's for individual flowers that will sit in that vase. Looks really beautiful, full of flowers. What do they want for it? They want $45.95 on it. Really, it's worth about $45. I think maybe if you were to ask, hey, I'd like to buy both of these, you might be able to get them down on the price a little bit. Always negotiate. That's my non-negotiable when it comes to anything in any of the thrift stores, anywhere, because again, you got to negotiate, and I think you'll do very well. The milk glass, I want you to remember, I talked about this with a lot of my other videos too, so search for it on the channel, but with milk glass, I want you to look at the different hobnails, because there are different ones, and remember the attributes about milk glass. These pieces right here, really heavy, very weighty, nice separated dishes of milk glass. They want $24 for this one, and this is a nice piece worth about 25 bucks. Notice the shape and how large each one of the hobnails is. Notice that it's not pointed. That's another thing you want to notice here. But I want to show you the good hobnails from the lousy hobnails. So here is a basket, milk glass basket, right? This is just a pattern that's molded. They're trying to make it look like it has hobnails, trying to make it look like a piece like this one, which actually has hobnails. So remember, you have to see the individual little hobnails in order for you to get the better piece. And look at that with the nice star form at the rim of this sugar bowl, which is an open sugar bowl. It's not supposed to have a lid. If it was supposed to have a lid, it would have a little line where the lid would sit. But this is going to be a difficult lid to make, so they didn't make a lid for it. It's Fenton. They want $21 for it, and it's worth $15. So that's a little bit overpriced. I want you to look at this bowl. This bowl is in bad shape. It's been used a lot. The flowers that are here, or the flowers on the cookie jar that match it, that also have these large orange and blue flowers, that's done differently, and this is going to be worth more than, for example, this American Hall pot. So here's a teapot. You can see that this is transferware because you can see the edge of the print that it actually transferred it. So you could see that sharp edge with the flowers sort of going downward. Well, what they did was they just basically made that nice sharp edge. That's from the actual print. So these pieces would command more money than this teapot if you had teapot to teapot. It's the crocus pattern. I have to say, I love crocuses. These don't look like crocuses to me. They look more like tulips. The reason for it is crocuses are very, very small, and they're usually very low to the ground. If your line is the ground, these don't look like crocuses to me. But anyway, that is the name of the pattern. $65.95 for that. Now, that's in very good shape, but that's not the highest quality piece of Hall china that you're going to see. I would say that's way too high, and I'd leave that there. Look at how rounded and organic this whole red set is. This is the red sundial set, the casserole dish there, very mid-century modern. So the ball, Chinese red ball piece, they want $69.95, so almost $70 for it, but it is perfect. Let's take a look at the mark. Here's the mark. And oftentimes to have that dark mark on the white background of the clay is typical. These little dots are from somebody painting a wall near the actual picture. That would happen. That happened in my mother's house. She was always painting some wall. But for $70, that's just about the retail value for it. That's what you're going to pay if you're going to see it online. That's what you're going to pay if you're going to buy it in a high-end antique shop as well. Now they want $35.95 for this piece, and they want, probably in the 20s, they want $28 for the set. So the red is what is capturing everybody's attention for that, for $28. Those should be about $25. And this piece is at full price. That's about retail. Why do I wear the gloves? I wear the gloves because the oils in my hands can be transferred to an object, attract dirt to that object, and devalue that object. I'm not a germaphobe. When I'm shopping, basically it's to protect the objects, which are not mine. I left it all here for you. There's more to come.